Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is doing great today. Um, I'm going to wait for people to join in, but as you must know, we have breaking news, and I want to discuss some of it today. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining. When you join in, please say hello. I'm going to try and take a couple of questions. I have to be out of here by about 3 o'clock, but you know what happened yesterday, so it's important for us to have a really quick conversation about this. And hopefully, maybe Thursday, I'll be able to come back again and discuss this some more. I just want to talk about some of the executive orders that President Trump, who got into office yesterday, signed. He basically signed a flurry of executive orders. And I want to talk about those, just a couple of them, because I don't have a lot of time, but I want to talk about the one that's on everyone's mind. And so thank you for joining me. Thank you, Black for Diamond. Thank you, Bonjour, Mimi Maple Syrup. Thank you guys for joining me. I don't think I have anybody on. Okay, do I have YouTube here? Yes. So, good afternoon, everyone. Let me introduce myself for those who are joining my live for the first time today. My name is Ifeoma Odunlami. I am an immigration attorney with the Odunlami Law Firm here in New Jersey. My law firm serves clients in all 50 states. I'm an immigration attorney, but I'm also an immigrant. And so, my passion and that of my firm is to assist fellow immigrants in getting legal status so that they can live here in the United States without fear of deportation and without fear of family separation. I truly believe that immigrants make America greater. And so it's important for us to have this conversation, especially with you know, in relation to this new administration, which is very anti-immigrant. So let's talk about this. Thank you, my treasure, uh, Rochelle, and thank you, Shirley Richard from TikTok. Thank you, guys. So let's get started. Whew, guys, those orders, I think what, 78 of them? Luckily, not all of them have to do with immigration, which is surprising because President Trump ran solely, it looks like he ran solely on immigration. And all the things he says he's going to do with regards to immigration, including mass deportations and all that, well, we're going to get more information on that. But one key thing that he did yesterday was to sign an executive order terminating birthright citizenship. All right. Now, I'm going to talk about what is birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship is guaranteed. I have my notes here, guaranteed by the United States Constitution, the 14th Amendment, which says that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. And that's the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, right? So that right is a constitutional right which no president can terminate by executive order. Not going to happen. And of course, you know that that executive order that was signed is going to be subject to challenges, which already started. We have the ACLU that filed a lawsuit yesterday. We have, I heard that there are like 18 states which have filed some manner of legal action against this executive order. So let's talk about what this means. So basically, what President Trump is by trying to terminate the birthright citizenship by that executive order is basically saying that if your parents are not green card holders or U.S. citizens and you're born here, that you cannot acquire citizenship merely by being born in the United States. And so if you're the child of an undocumented person or the child of someone who has an F1 visa or a non-immigrant visa, your child born in the United States cannot become a U.S. citizen by virtue of the birth. And order he signed basically flies in the face of the Constitution. And so if an executive order cannot terminate a constitutional right. So to do this, first of all, the amendment not only has to be approved, let me back up. To change that law or to change that constitutional right, not only does that, it has to be amended. That constitution has to be amended. An amendment has to be approved by 2/3 of both chambers of Congress, the House and the Senate. And I really don't believe that they have the numbers. But not only do they have to be approved by 2/3 vote in both chambers of Congress, but it has to be ratified by 3/4 of state legislature. And this is an extensive process with a really high bar. So I don't know what the purpose of signing this was, except to rattle people because it's going to be challenged. And so that's what we're going to be seeing now, the challenge to that executive order. So now, not only do we have this constitutional right, which is codified, which is which we find in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, it's also codified in statute. There was a case law, United States versus Wong Kim Ark. In that case, which came in, the case was, the decision was made in 1898. And the site to that is 169 U.S. 649. In that case, the Supreme Court confirmed that children born in the United States of non-citizen parents are citizens under the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause. So not only do we have a constitutional right, we also have a Supreme Court decision confirming this. And so there have been many people who have tried at some point in over the 125 years since the Supreme Court emphatically rejected that effort to undercut birthright citizenship in Wong Kim Ark. There's been many challenges, but this principle has remained undisturbed and has been a constitutional bedrock. So what we know is going to happen is there's going to be litigation. And so let's watch out for what's going on. So basically, that's really it. But as things change, I'm going to let you know what's going on. But there's a whole bunch of executive orders that affect immigration. So I want to talk about another one. There's also the executive order also terminates the Biden era program known as humanitarian parole. That humanitarian parole allowed migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela to apply for authorization to enter the United States for up to 2 years and work if they secured a US-based sponsor and passed certain vetting requirements. So that one is no more. And now I know that maybe a week or so ago, the former President Biden had also extended some TPS protection to certain countries by extending it to 2026. But we're not sure what's going to happen to TPS to the countries that didn't have those extensions. So there's also the securing our borders executive order, which applies to people who are seeking asylum. So this includes establishing a border wall and bringing back Trump's initial Remain in Mexico policy, which requires asylum seekers at the southern border to wait out their cases outside of the United States. The order also terminates the use of the Biden-era CBP One app, which made legal entry easier, and also ends the catch and release practice, whereby undocumented immigrants are released into the U.S. on parole to wait their immigration hearings. All that is over now. So what else is over? I think that's pretty much, there's more, but I want to discuss this because I got a lot of questions regarding the birthright citizenship, and I wanted to talk about that. And I can assure you that birthright citizenship cannot be ended by executive order. So let's let the case law, the legal system play it out, and we'll get back to you as to what's going on. So let me answer a couple of questions, and then I have to run. Let's see. I'm not seeing questions. I'm seeing people telling me what they think about the President Trump's ability to end terminate birthright citizenship. And so I'm going to ask you to do a little history lesson, to see where that comes from. Diane says it's over, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, they don't care about immigrants. Diane, some people don't care about immigrants, but some do, and it's not over because this is not the first time that lawyers have had to fight against unfair and unlawful laws that burden the immigrant community and that violate the law. So we did it before in Trump 1.0. Remember the Muslim ban? Remember all of that? And that's what lawyers do. We are here to fight for the Constitution. Okay, so I'm not going to I'm not going to agree with you that it's over. Okay. Lutana says, attorney, is there any executive order that affects VAWA? No, there's none. Let's see. Let's see. So Bridget says, but with what the president signed yesterday, they have already said visiting immigrants visited today in Texas. So Bridget, there is the Trump administration has vowed to deport immigrants, and they can do that. Yes, there are laws that authorize them and allow them to do that, and they will start doing that. So that has nothing to do with the birthright citizenship that we talked about. That really they were going to do that without that. So visiting immigrants and trying to get people, trying to deport people is part of what the president said he was going to do. And yes, they're going to deport people, but there's some people that will be able to fight their deportation process. So if you have an outstanding order of deportation, you want to talk to a lawyer that you trust. If we've already, I know many lawyers have put the right, immigrant rights, what you can do when ICE approaches you at home, what you can do when ICE approaches you at a workplace or on the streets. Because immigrants have rights as well, regardless of whether or not you're here and you're undocumented. So you want to pay close attention to that. Okay, I know we put out some, and so take a look at that. I'm definitely going to talk about that some more. Go over what you can do if ICE, if you come in contact with ICE. All right. All right. So, all right. So Ade Dolakwa said, so what happens to any new birth by immigrants while the case is ongoing? Well, typically what happens is when there's a challenge to something, then there's a stay. That law is placed on hold until a decision is made. That's typically what happens. So I'm expecting that's what's going to be, that's what's going to happen, but I will be here to let you know what happens. This law is supposed to go into effect February 20th. So basically it goes into effect for people who are born on and after that date. All right. So Rafuel says, I have questions. I was married when I had a tourist visa in USA, and I applied for I-130 and then you went back home. Now you have a visa for 5 years. Can you visit again while your I-130 is ongoing. So Rafiul, yes, you can visit if you have a tourist visa. However, at the CBP, which is Customs Border Patrol, you have to convince them that you will return because your tourist visa is just to visit and go back. So you have to convince them that you're going to go for a short period and return to your home while your I-130 continues to process. Because if they're not convinced that you're going to return to your country after a short visit, they can turn you back at the border, even though you have a tourist visa. So they can put you in secondary inspection, go through your phone, go through your suitcase, go through your email, go through whatever. And if they see anything that suggests that you're not going back to your country after the visit, or you say something to them that makes them think that, they can turn you back, okay? All right, so let's see if I can grab one question from TikTok. Linda says, can people still file for asylum? Yes, there hasn't been any law that stops you from filing asylum. It's just that the process through which you file asylum has changed. So that's just that. Now that you have to file asylum from outside the country, typically Mexico. That's what is called the Remain in Mexico. I think it's remain in Mexico policy, which started with President Trump in his first term in office. And so there's some people I'm just going to have to ban because they come on here and they're just rude. And we don't have time for rude people or people who are filled with hate against immigrants. Just go do better, okay? Go live your life and do better. So if you're coming in here on any of my lives with negativity or being rude, I will remove you and ban you from my podcast or my lives. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for another question. I'm going to answer a couple more questions and then I will head out. But, we have a lot of review to do with regards to the executive orders. And we have to figure out what's going on. I know they've already started looking for immigrants, sending them out. Trying to, I guess, detain them and all that. That actually even started happening before Trump came into power. As soon as he got elected, there were places that were already doing that in California, especially. All right, so MZ Precious says, I don't know why it's taking forever to get an interview date from my immigrant visa. The petition was approved in 2021. So MZ, if I don't know what petition you filed, but your petition was approved, which is the I-130. The I-130 was approved. After the I-130 is approved now, remember you have to go through the National Visa Center, which they have to get documents from you. They have to review the documents. They have to pronounce your case documentarily qualified. And once that's done, which typically takes a few months, then they will move your case to the embassy in your country. And yes, it does take a while. Sometimes it can take up to a year before they give you an interview date. And that's because I think I went off of Facebook. And that's because there are long lines in some of these embassies. So I'm going to suggest you just keep checking, okay? There's really not much you can do except to keep checking to know when your interview dates, when you're called for the interview. All right, guys, I'm going to run because I got kicked out of Facebook and I have to leave anyway. So, but I'm going to try to get back here on Thursday and, try to give you guys a rundown of basically everything that's going on that is related to immigration. So in the meantime, stay safe and take care. Bye-bye.